Okay, here we go. First phase. In the first phase, we just have to choose a topic. So everyone can raise his hand and say a topic. What is the topic? The topic is a brief title of what we have to discuss about. Let's say a very classic one, like I would like to discuss about love in open couples. I don't know. Of course, that's a title. And that's a good title because it's brief. If I want to discuss about the fact that maybe my mother doesn't agree with me, so do we maybe have to always agree with our parents, or maybe sometimes that's not a title, but you can say it, and maybe somebody else will be able to find the shortened form, so we can write it as a title. So everything is just brainstorming. You can say everything that you want to say. We just have to write down a brief title. So afterward, we will need to shorten a little bit just to write down. So you raise your hands and you propose some title. After 10, we will vote for the title we want to use, and everybody is going to be discussing this title all together. Is it clear for everyone? If it's not clear, you raise your hand and I can explain you again. Wszystko jasne.
No tak.
Absolutnie. Tutto è clair, tutto chiaro. Okay. No? Yes? Yes. Okay. So let's start proposing something. Go with it. Bullshit. Doesn't matter. Okay.
Morality.
Marching, yes?
Yes, morality.
Morality?
It's morality.
What is?
Morality, yes. Veganism, religion.
Actually, as a title, we take just morality, and then we dig into it if we pick up this one. And you're marching legend, yes? Marching, what is morality? Very interesting. Thank you, Marcin. Somebody else? Matt.
The nature of romantic relationships in the age of Tinder.
Can you shorten it for me?
Romance
Digital
in the
dating.
modern world.
Romance in modern world. And that's Matt. Yes? That's it. Thank you, Matt. Hola.
Maybe like this. Can AI be sentient? Or even what is sentience in the context of AI?
Can I be sentient?
AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Yes, but your question about
Can AI be sentient?
can you be an IE?
Can artificial intelligence
Okay.
be sentient? And
Can-
what is sentience? What is it?
AI be sentient?
Consciousness.
You are Ola how? Because we have a lot of Ola. Give me one letter more.
F.
Ola F. Thank you, Ola F. Ibrahim. Multiculturality in Poland. Ibra. Thank you, Ibra. Ola.
Limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs.
Limiting beliefs. Interesting. You're going to be Ola P. Thank you, Ola P. And you are Alicia.
Free will in a system.
Free will in a system. Very interesting those days. New Ala. Just this way, because we have just one actually today. Alicia is just one. Yes, just one Alicia. That's weird. Arthur.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The best way in the modern world to raise kids.
The best way to raise kids.
Nowadays, because it's a little bit other time from
I
10
like
years
it.
ago.
Thank you, Arthur. Okay, we still have space for some more, so go and propose.
The root and the danger of Alexander Levi's theory.
The root and dangers of
The root the root and the danger of Alexander Dugin's theory.
Alexander Dugin theory.
Alexander the root and
Aha, Dugin. Okay, actually, can you just put it in a form that doesn't involve a specific name? Because the problem is that otherwise people doesn't know Dugin, they won't be able to speak about this topic. So can you just, for example, if what is interesting in your opinion about his thought? What is interesting in Alexander Dugin thought for you? So we can just put a topic instead of a name. The difference is that a lot of people not knowing Dugin, if you don't explain exactly what you want to speak about, they won't be able to speak about it.
But you just switch the rhetoric from the root and the danger to what is interesting.
Okay, so what is dangerous?
You the name.
What is dangerous in your opinion about Dugin opinion?
Yes.
What is dangerous for you of Dugin?
No, what is dangerous? Could you please explain what is dangerous?
The question to you,
It's a question.
what is dangerous? Why is dangerous?
Why is it dangerous?
Why do you think it's dangerous?
Which part of his thought is dangerous? Everything? And if it's okay, everything. So can you just describe his thought? Guys, sorry, you have to listen to everybody else. Otherwise, it's going to be a catastrophe.
maybe it can be the root and danger of extreme nationalism.
Do you like this?
That's a philosophical topic.
The danger of
Extreme nationalism. In a very shortest form.
extreme national.
Yeah, because I
Straight,
think
extreme?
extreme nationalism.
Extreme, okay, thank you.
That's what I would call
Yeah, we can.
Alexander Dugin.
Thank you. It's Victor, yes? Victor. Thank you, Victor. Perfect.
So maybe
ultranationalism.
the fear of speaking in public, so anxieties, why
The fear
why people fear to speak out, to give opinions.
in public. And your once again?
Oksana.
Oksana.
I mean, it seems no one is scared here to speak loud, but maybe someone's.
Yes, I mean it's totally 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we still have space for some. Yes, you-
Książęca księżna.
veganism. Marcin, once again. Do somebody else have some idea, something you would like to discuss about?
Yes. Problem of victim.
Problem
Of victim.
of victim.
Victim, yes.
Of victim. Andrei. I hope I write it well, but surely I don't because I don't know the alphabet. So still. Maria.
Is justice the same thing as morality?
Is justice the same thing as morality? Maria. Thank you, Maria. I saw some hand. No, I just got some hallucination. Yes, philosophers are crazy. We do have hallucinations all the time, so it's normal.
Maybe the social changes after COVID.
Okay, but about this, let's not. If we pick up this one, let's not fight, okay? Because every time that we speak about this topic, it's a war. So.
After COVID.
Social change after COVID.
As long as we don't talk about the vaccines.
Emanuele, grazie Emanuele. No, it's just like usually in Philosophical Café we must be able to discuss everything. But let's be honest, nowadays to discuss about the war or COVID is one of those topics that usually people start to jump on the table and fight each other, so just don't, okay? We can discuss everything as long as everybody's sure that you're not going to like kill anyone else. If somebody kills anyone else, it's not my responsibility, okay? Let's underline that. So, what time is it? Sorry, can I... Okay, we still have some time. So, now I'm going to read every topic, and some of you have to raise his hand, and you will have 2 minutes to defend it. For example, what is morality is being proposed by Marcin. I'm going to say, what is morality? And someone have to raise his hand and say, I would like to discuss this topic because, and this someone cannot be Marcin. Okay, because he's the proposer, so he cannot be the defender. Every topic must find one defender for 2 minutes. Okay, so Marcin proposed what is morality. Who is the defender? Please give us 2 minutes, telling us why you would like to discuss about this topic. Okay. Thank you, Andre.
Yeah, I want to discuss this topic because morality is an important part of our life. Morality is everywhere because when we talk with people, with one another, we have morality. When we working at the work and also speaking with our colleagues, not in just some home speaking style, is also like some morality. When we make some maybe things, yes, with other people, I mean send letters, I mean make some help or not help is also morality, and it's everywhere, and every person have such own morality, and we could also discuss this because it's a different point of view. Even if you close friends, sometimes happens that you have different points of view on one event or something else. Why not?
Thank you, Andre. Second topic, romantic in the modern world, Tinder life. It's proposed by Matt, so we have to find a defensor that is not Matt.
I
Ola.
would like to defend. I think it's a very interesting topic because Tinder and all these dating apps have changed our way to see relationships. Like with all the swipe, you don't get to know people, but just look at the picture, and then you're not giving chances to people who don't match you physically. Some other people reject it absolutely, and it's also why. Why some people are not interested at all and reject it, why some other people are interested and they defend it. I think it has changed the way to date nowadays, and it has had an impact not only in dating but in long-term relationships. Some people find long-term relationships, some people are just skipping from one to the other, and some people are maybe even cheating in their current relationship because it's easy to find it in something like Tinder or so. So I find it a very interesting topic.
Thank you, Ola. Next topic, can IE be sentient? Proposed by another Ola that cannot defend. So who wants to defend the topic, can IE be sentient? Ibra.
Just to understand.
Be sentient.
Scientist or
L'intelligenza artificiale può essere senziente? That's the topic. Can IE be sentient?
Yeah, we don't know that.
Sentient meaning
Maybe emotions or not.
Having consciousness.
having consciousness. Yes, thank you. Can a computer have a conscience? Be conscient? Is it clear for everyone? Okay.
Consciousness, right? Can AI have consciousness?
Yes. Are you defending? Okay. Everybody's curious, but as far as now nobody's defending, we must find somebody defending. Great. Thank you, Kuba.
I think we should discuss if AI is sentient, because we as humans obviously are sentient. We can perceive our surrounding, we can see things that are before us. We can hear, we can smell. Like we are able to live and perceive everything that is around us. And slowly, machines are becoming something similar. Like with time, computers are starting to. We created cameras, so the computers can see just like people. We created microphones and stuff like that, so the computers can also hear like us. And the question is if we can make computers have our thought on its own. If the computer can, if it's possible that also can relate to morality, because we as humans may have our own morality, and the question is if the computer itself can, if it can achieve consciousness, if it can create its own morality.
Thank you very much, Kuba. And multiculturality in Poland, proposed by Ibra, who's going to defend. Please remember that you can even defend everything. So if, for example, you have some idea, you don't have to tell yourself, okay, I'm not defending this one because afterward I want to defend another one. You can even defend 5. Doesn't change anything. So if you have some idea about why we should discuss multiculturality in Poland, please go for it. Artur,
Okay,
you feel like, go for it.
So multicultural in Poland, yeah. As I may know, Poland is one of the countries where monoculture.
Can you talk louder?
Yeah, as I may know, Poland is country with the biggest monoculture here. It's about 90% here is Polish people. And scientists told that society develop when it mix different nations, like in USA. So it's genetic information change, and it's quite interesting also because it allows kids to speak few language fluently. Also, it develops their brain. And another psychology thing, maybe it's like a joke a little bit one, but I know the story when Belarusian girl and German man create family. It was multicultural family, and they rarely argue each one because they spoke English, and this English was not very well. So multicultural is a great possibility to develop a new society in Poland, especially.
Thank you, Artur. Limiting beliefs, proposed by Ola P. There is this one. Who's going to defend limiting beliefs?
Maybe I try. So the topic reminds me where nowadays there is an argument emerging in the Polish parliament whether to limit the belief, the religion education in schools or not. And different sides have different arguments. And one from the Lewica side, a small left-wing party, and they suggest that there should be no religious education at all in the public schools, the public education system at all. And if anybody wants to believe in something, they go to church or different kind of sectors, denominations. And it's 2 minutes, so I try to finish it briefly. And I just want to respond to that point of argument, because to me, the religious freedom.
You don't have to give us your opinion. You just have to tell us why we have to discuss this topic.
Why we have to? This is
why is it interesting?
Because it's religions. to be a believer or not to be a believer is the most essential the essence of our social life, basically, especially here in Poland. Statistically, 92% Catholic. Even most of them don't go to church at all. But still, this is any time any social argument, conflict emerges, and the religious arguments comes out. So.
Thank you, Victor. Free will in system proposed by Allah, that is this one. And who's going to defend free will in system? Nobody likes free will. Ola.
I'll defend this one too. I think it's a very interesting topic, not only if it exists or not, and up to what point each of us are conscious of their free will, if we have it or not. What do we think? What do we think about the others? And where does our free will start and stop concerning other people? Like, does my free will stop when I am violating your rights, or am I entitled to my free will and you too? I think it's a very interesting topic, and especially in system, because depending in which system, in the one that we have or any other, there are already some impositions already there. So are they against my free will? Are they coercing my free will, or are they not? I think all this, it has a lot of possibilities to discuss, so that's why I think it's a very good topic.
Thank you, Ola. The best way to raise kids, proposed by Arthur and defended by Matt.
Yeah, I think this is a really important topic because basically all of us, almost all of us, will have children at some time, and all of us have been children. So we all know how your childhood has a huge effect on who you are, how you operate in the world. If something bad happens to a child, it's something that can stay with them for a very long time. We live in a time now where there's so much therapy and help for people for psychological problems, and a lot of these things stem from childhood. So in an age now where we've outsourced our education system to the state, and children spend a lot less time at home being educated by their parents, I think it's a conversation to have there where what is the role of parents? How much should parents take back responsibility for their children? How much should they give to the schools? How is the syllabus chosen in schools? In terms of discipline, is it a good thing to punish your children in a physical way, or is it not? Even small things like, should you lie to your child about Santa Claus? These are all questions I think could be a very interesting conversation.
By the way, let's be formal about it. Santa Claus exists. Thank you very much, Matt. And the danger of extreme nationalism proposed by Victor, who's defending.
But in days of Alexander Dugin theory?
No, because not everyone knows it.
Okay.
So actually,
I know it.
Okay, you know it, but the point of Philosophical Café is that you don't use a specific word, a specific name. Like, for example, I cannot tell you, let's discuss about aesthetics in Aristotle, because otherwise people who didn't read Aristotle are cut away,
but
are cut off.
The theory
Okay?
is close to what I choose as a topic, because it's talking about the multiculturality in the world. Like, we have Occidental part, we have the Chinese, we have the Russian culture. But the theory of
Yes,
is very interesting and similar to my topic.
Yes, it sounds
big
similar.
Picture, because
Do you want to defend it?
Yes.
Okay, go with it.
Okay, I find it as an interesting topic, but if we, because Alexander Dugin, as a Russian philosopher, he is thinking that every culture or civilization, we need to have a multicultural world, like the Occidental world, the Muslim world, the Russian, the Chinese, like this. No civilization impose the culture.
Wait, but you like Dugin, and he doesn't. Let's not do that, okay? You don't have to answer him. If you want to defend the topic, it means that you take the topic he proposed and you say that yes, I like, and I explain to everyone why I like the topic. Not like I dislike and I'm telling you why I dislike. Doesn't work this way. No. If we choose the topic, then of course you can say that you dislike. But we have to choose the topic. In this moment, now we defend the topics, okay? So is there anyone that want to defend the topic? Not be, I mean,
No.
if you disagree, okay, no problem. I mean, he has his opinion, you have your opinion, everyone has, it's not a problem, but in this moment we're defending, okay? So you would like to discuss about this?
But as
Would you like to discuss about this topic?
no.
Okay, so let's find somebody defending the topic, okay?
Extreme nationalism, right?
The topic is, once again, the danger of extreme nationalism.
So I think
You want to defend?
yeah, because
Okay.
I think like I live in Poland and we saw some like manifestations of extreme nationalism, and we should dig into like where it comes from and like why people, what people are afraid in terms of other nations like entering their country, and history also showed us how it can end. So we should discuss it to maybe like prevent it in some ways for the future. But we should like start what is extreme, because for me nationalism is a danger, so extreme nationalism.
So
it's
you
like
think it's a
double
good topic
danger.
because
Yeah.
actually is an actual danger in your
Yeah.
opinion? Okay, thank you, Ala. And the fear to speak in public proposed by Oksana, who wants to defend the fear of speaking in public?
I'll defend it again.
All right.
I find it a very
The
interesting.
biggest defender we have.
Yeah, I find it a very interesting topic. I find all topics very interesting because it's something that happens to a lot of people, and it's so common that it's important to talk about it and why we are so afraid to speak in public, and is it possible to get over that fear? Where does this fear come from? Can I do something against it? And if so, what did I do to go over it, and where is it coming from? Like also going a little bit broader to other fears. I mean, if it's not enough with the fear of public speaking, why we have some fears that actually are not based. So I find it a very interesting topic that can also lead to a little bit wider topic about fear. So yeah.
Thank you, Ola. Actually, please remember when we are going to vote, because very soon we are going to vote, that you better vote a topic you disagree with, because if everybody votes a topic that everybody thinks the same about, it's not going to be fun.
Disagree with defendants or disagree with what?
Like, for example, the topic of Victor was very nice, because
Yes,
Ibra...
but if I disagree with defendants of this topic, because for example,
With the-
I disagree with
with the
this
title.
concept, but
Yes.
I don't disagree with the team.
Yes, you see, so already you have some kind of
Yeah, already.
specific think about it.
Yes, so I
Means that is a good topic to discuss. Because if, for example, we discuss about is it a bad idea to rape children? That's boring. I mean, no one thinks that is a good idea to rape children. I hope. Okay, I mean, just if we find a topic that everybody agree on, it's not going to be fun. It's better to find a topic that, about which we have different opinions. Okay, just a suggestion. Of course, you vote what you want. And we have Marcin, veganism. I think it's a great topic because everybody is going to fight.
Has a moral duty. Has a moral duty.
Veganism has a moral duty.
Veganism is what?
As a moral duty. Who wants to defend? Doesn't imply that you have to defend being vegan. It implies that you have to defend the idea of discussing about it. And yes, but we have Matt.
Sure.
We have Matt.
Yeah. I think veganism is a really interesting topic because it's becoming more and more common. I grew up as a vegetarian, and then I started to eat meat only when I was 22 years old. With the way that we've been educated about what's good to eat and what's not good to eat, these things seem to have changed, and the authorities can't seem to agree. But veganism is becoming more popular. If it's bad for your health, it could be very bad for us for the future. If it's good for your health, then it could be very good for us for the future, and maybe we'll save a lot of money on health services. As a moral duty, how do you feel about animals? Would you eat a dog? Probably not. Would you eat a cow? Possibly.
Depends by the sauce.
So yeah, there's that funny moral line there with what animals will you choose to eat, and if you will eat meat, how should the animals be treated? So I think there's a lot to discuss.
Okay. You want to make a brief defend because you were raising your hand?
Oh yeah, I did.
So,
but I was
okay.
a minute later than
Ah,
Matt.
okay. So you are,
Yes, I also do want to defend.
yeah, but just be brief, okay?
Sure, sure.
Yeah? Are you just defending? Okay, we have 3 defenders. And the problem of victim proposed by Andrei.
Yeah.
So somebody that is not Andrei must defend.
What's the topic? Sorry.
Il problema della vittima.
Like victimhood.
In which sense? Victimhood?
Okay.
No,
in
you
that-
don't have to defend, just answer.
No. I just to explain.
yeah.
Okay, problem with the victim because why some, for example, of us or some of the people could be victim in real life. What the ways could be of this could be going by these people to be a victim? For example, maybe it's a very big problem because maybe sometimes some people want to be a victim.
Uh-huh.
And why they want to be a victim? If we have something accident with people and this person is a victim, why they become a victim? So it's behavior, it's like external situation, it's what is it, and what is there from the point of the like a law, yes. Could be how we could decide it at the lower layer, because when the person is victim, but if they want to be a victim, it's his behavior. It's not matter what to decide in this case.
Somebody wants
Yep.
to defend.
Yes, if nobody else.
Why not?
Let's go with Ola. Thank you very much.
But I find it like
I don't
really-
pay her, I swear.
I find it really interesting because I think it has a lot to do with the human psychology and also with awareness. You can talk a lot about the human psychology, why you do what you do, why you're not doing other things, but also about awareness. Like, if I am being a victim, if I am playing the victim role, am I even aware of it? Am I not aware? Why and stuff, and how people are aware of or not if they are in that role, and if they are or if they are not, why are they in that role? That goes a little bit into human psychology, which I found fascinating.
Thank you once again, Ola. And now we have is justice the same as morality? Yes, proposed by Maria. Sorry, I'm not able to read myself.
Perhaps I can say something else.
Yes, thank you, Marcin.
And I believe that in this topic we should specify what justice is and what morality is, because some people could have problems with.
But why you think is interesting?
Okay, it's interesting because we need to specify what those terms mean. We should be clear about what morality is. It's going back to my topic, original topic, and also justice is sometimes confused with law. And I believe that we should also focus on this aspect, that we should differentiate between law and justice. What is real justice? And we will go actually back to the problem of morality, what morality is, and what is it objective or is it subjective? Because it is still important in this aspect, because maybe it is subjective. You come across some kind of contradictions in some aspects. So this would be interesting. How would we justify some just or morality? And again, it's going back to the main question of what morality is, and then going later to other aspects. Because here is more specific, and in order to distinguish between law and especially law, because law sometimes could be problematic in the case of justice and in the case of morality. Law could be immoral in some aspects. So it could be useful.
Thank you, Marcin, very much. And social change after COVID proposed by Emanuele. Ibra?
Yes,
Ibra.
I think it's a very interesting topic because.
Can you please speak up?
Sorry?
Can you please speak up?
Okay. I think it's a very important topic because we can notice a lot of change in ourselves and in the society after these 3 years of staying home or alone. It was an opportunity for us to think again about ourselves, about our way of life, and I think a lot of people has changed after this topic. So I see it is a very interesting topic to talk about.
Okay.
Also, I want to defend this.
Okay. Be
Yes.
short.
Okay, I think yes, it's also a good topic for the discussing because some people say that it was a lot of changes of our lives. Some people say that it's a lot of events happening due to the COVID that couldn't be happened without it. And exists other topic of view that nothing changes. And I think that it's two opposite topics that we could discuss.
Thank you, Andre, and thank you a lot. We are going to vote. Are you ready?
Sure.
Everybody's ready?
Can you vote for few or on one?
Yes, I'm explaining now. First turn, everyone can vote even everything. So you raise your hand, even you just. I read the first one, you raise your hand, and you take it off after the last one. I don't care. Okay, you can vote everything. Then, if there is some topic that is draw, then we are going to vote again, and this time everybody votes for just one, because otherwise we're going to be drawn forever. Okay?
So you can also vote for your own, right?
Yes, of course. First turn, you can vote everything. Everything, everything, everything. What is morality? Let's vote for it. Raz, dwa, trzy, cztery, pięć, sześć, siedem, osiem, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Like how many topics can we discuss? So how many will...
Just one. And of course, after the philosophical cafe, somebody can stay and discuss about all the rest. That happens very often. But I will be tired, so you will be discussing without me. And romance in modern world. Raz, dwa, trzy, cztery, pięć, sześć, siedem, osiem, 9, 10, 11. Can IE be sentient?
Искусственный интеллект может быть нет.
You think?
Okay. Сложные слова.
Raz, dwa, trzy, cztery, pięć, sześć, siedem. Tylko 7? Dobra. Multiculturality in Poland. Raise your hand. Raz, dwa. Multiculturality in Poland. You all ready? Okay. Kasia, tak czy nie? Tak, dobra. 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, Nie, tak, 6, 7, 8, 9. A teraz limiting beliefs. Is it an interesting topic? Limiting beliefs. Raz, dwa, trzy, 4, 5, 6. I to wszystko. Free will in system. Raz, dwa, trzy, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Make sure if it's spelled like this.
The best way to raise kids.
Really?
What about parenting?
Nobody knows this
Raz,
word.
dwa, trzy, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. The danger of extreme nationalism. Danger of extreme nationalism. Raz, dwa, trzy. To łapka czy nie? Nie. Raz, dwa, trzy, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the fear to speak in public. Guys, please focus a little bit because we have to vote. Co się stało? The fear to speak in public. Raz, dwa, trzy, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I to wszystko. Veganism as a moral duty. Raz, dwa, trzy, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wygląda jak wygram. Problem of victim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is justice the same thing as morality? Is it the same thing as morality or not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Social change after COVID. Fuck. Wow. Now, we have in theory 2, but I will put 3 because 1 is almost the same amount of votes. So let's see those 3. 1, 2, 3. Because we have 2 with 14 and we have 1 with 12. So we can put it in with the others and see which one wins. Now everyone can vote just for one of them, okay? You have just one vote. You don't vote twice. You don't do it to me, okay?
Would you please repeat?
Yes, I will. Don't you worry. Once again, your name?
Imran.
Imran. Thank you. First one, what is morality? Second one, veganism as a moral duty. Third one, social change after COVID. If you pick the last one, I'm going away. Visit yourself. No, I think it's very interesting. I'm joking. No, it is interesting. Actually, it is. It's like every very interesting topic is very spinoso.
It's quite a new topic. We
Yes.
didn't talk about it.
But even what is morality is very interesting because what is morality and veganism as a moral duty is very interesting because we have to decide with which sauce we have to eat dogs. So it can be interesting to discuss about.
Why dogs only?
Yeah, why dogs only? I mean, why cannot fill the dog with a cat? Okay, no, it was not just that. I'm vegan actually. First one, so everybody listen once again, be careful because we are going to discuss about this topic, okay? 1. What is morality? 2. Veganism as a moral duty. 3. Social change after COVID. 1. What is morality? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Veganism as a moral duty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
This topic could be the part of the first one.
You can make it become while speaking, actually. Every topic is connected if you want to connect it. So, no matter from which one we depart, actually, you will see that we can reach almost everything. Not really everything, because maybe not, well, almost everything. Social change. Social change after COVID. We have one. You already voted. No? Okay. Raz, dva, tři, čtyři. Okay. Now. Yes, everybody's been honest. So we have a winner, and the winner is veganism as a moral duty.
Can we have a break for a drink? Because no one came and we are still on a drink.
Nobody comes to the table.
Yes, we can have some break.
They don't care about gaining money, isn't it? They just do it because they believe in making a pub. They don't want to make money. It's a very good moment. I was about to give you a break, actually. So let's have a break. Let's be back in 5 minutes, let's say. Go to the bathroom, take your beers, take your sandwiches, take everything you want. Smoke your cigarettes.
Oh, I think there's
Fill the
some.
bathrooms. And okay, guys, so how is going to work this part of the Philosophical Café? This part of the Philosophical Café is very easy. You're going to start speaking, and if you want to speak, you have to raise your hand. And if you raise your hand, and I already have 5 people in the list, you have to wait your turn. Is it simple and clear for everyone?
Okay.
Okay. So you don't, if somebody else is speaking, everybody shut up. You don't answer to your phone for no reason. Okay? Of course, if you have to raise and go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. But as long as you stay here, you listen to other people. You speak loud and clear, because otherwise it's very difficult for other people to understand what you want to say. Okay? And that's pretty simple. And more or less it's like that. And if there is something changing while we're speaking, I will tell you and you will notice. So, first of all, as we were speaking about veganism as a moral duty, I would like somebody that is against veganism because he thinks that veganism is a way of, I don't know what, but
It's not moral.
it's not moral. Yes. If everybody agrees on veganism, we have to change topic, okay? That's the point. Who disagree with veganism? Okay, actually we have Matt.
It's 2 different questions.
Wait. Matt, Ibram. You were first, Ola, Ala,
If we eat meat, we disagree with veganism already.
I don't know.
When you eat meat and also agree
It's
with
not
veganism.
a duty. If somebody says that it's a duty,
And
You can be a Catholic and do not go to church.
You can eat meat, but you can think
Andre?
that there is some problem with something. Like you can still have some.
Okay, I see a problem.
actually, in theory, you can even eat meat, but be in favor of veganism. For example, you would like to become vegan, but you don't feel able to. That can happen. I don't know.
Have some mixed thoughts about something.
I mean, I don't play football, but I'm not against football.
Yeah.
So, not being vegan doesn't imply to be against veganism. But now we want people against veganism, and we already have 5. So let's start with Matt.
Okay. I think veganism is not moral because it's bad for humans. I think we evolved, very obviously, eating an omnivorous diet, eating meat, eating animal products, eating plants as well. And the most dense, concentrated source of nutrition is from animals, and that can be from meat, from cheese, from other derivatives of animal products. And I think if the world was to become vegan, it would become less healthy. I think that we would suffer more disease. And we are already suffering a lot of disease everywhere in the world because of the consumption of the wrong types of food products. Sugar, I would say, is a very bad one. Refined carbohydrates. And I think that there is a huge movement online that is demonstrating how healthy you can be by eating meat. There are thousands and thousands of people who eat a carnivore-based diet. They only eat meat. In fact, there's a guy I follow on Facebook. He's 50-something years old. He is setting records for his age category in rowing, in weightlifting, and he looks good. He looks good. He's got a great physique. He's got the six-pack, age 50, and he eats nothing but steak. Sometimes he makes. I was a vegetarian, not a vegan, for 20 years. My teeth had fillings everywhere. I was at the dentist every month. As soon as I stopped my vegetarian diet and started eating meat, I had never had to have another tooth filling. My health has improved dramatically, mental health, physical health. But I do agree with vegans in regards to the ethical treatment of animals. We've moved on from those caveman days where you just stick a woolly mammoth with a spear and then eat it. We've grown to a stage where we are farming animals in an inhumane way, where pigs will be kept in a shed and will not see daylight. We have cows that never ever get to touch grass. So the thing where I agree with vegans is in the showing respect to animals. We should bring animals, we should cultivate animals for our health, to eat them, but we should do so in an ethical way, and we should do so in a way that is natural for them. As it is natural for us to eat meat, it is natural for cows to eat grass and feel the sun on their backs and not to suffer torture.
Thank you, Matt. It's Ibra.
Is it allowed to ask a question? How
No,
is the question?
you raise your hand, you note the question, and then you say it.
Okay, so I don't need to talk 2 minutes long, I just can raise it.
Yes, we have Oksana and Victor.
Just a question.
Discussion.
Ibra,
I don't consider.
not what you want to say, okay, guys? Not what you want to say.
I don't consider veganism as a moral duty because it can be a choice. Okay, a choice if someone wants to eat meat or not is a choice. Because I see that our body naturally they need meat. They need the protein from animals like cow, like chicken, etc. And they need other vitamins or proteins who come from the vegetables. So I will not repeat the same idea like Matt. He already talked about the idea of to take care of the animals, how we grow the animals, to respect it to 2012, etc. Not in the industrial way, to exploit the animal and to make them suffering. So for this idea, I am against veganism.
Thank you, Ibra. We have Ola, but I don't remember which one.
So I think for them, firstly, just like Matt, that veganism is not healthy for us, but I also think that from the scientific point of view, every organism, every alive organism has the same right to be alive. So I consider killing an animal the same as killing a plant. So I think that it's as bad or as morally.
Can you please repeat the same as killing a plant?
Yes.
You have to raise your hand.
I just wanted to
Yes,
clarify what
I
you said.
think that
That's not allowed.
Yes,
Do I want to? Right? Okay.
I think that killing a plant is as bad as killing an animal because every creature is the same from the biological point of view.
Thank you, Ala. No, Ola. We have Ala.
So I think the problem with veganism is like if we focus on the moral duty, like sometimes I feel like it takes the attention from other like manifestations of moral duty, and we are also like we humans, we can also consider ourselves as animals, and like other animals eat each other, and we need that meat to just survive. And I know stories of other people who have never eat meat, and then like at the age of 20 or even later in life they felt the urge to eat meat. So I think that we cannot like eliminate meat from our diet, and we shouldn't like focus all the attention of that on that aspect, and we should focus on other moral duties that are more necessary in the moment.
Thank you. And now we have Andrei.
Okay. I don't love that like radical point of view that veganism is dirty thing. Because also I read some science theory and also science experiments. That's okay. When we eat meat, it's good for us because it could give us a lot of energy. But also it requires a lot of energy from the organism for the processing this meat inside. And when we eat grass or something like vegan, it not requires a lot of energy. So when we situate it in normal life, yes, we all of us, I think, more of us have worked with intellectual with intellectual point of view. I mean, we must do the work. We must thinking, not working with our muscles. And in this case, we need a lot of meat because we need a lot of energy for our brain. But for example, if we have the work where work a lot of muscles and a lot of time, and it's continuous, for example, marathon, just for example, scientists said that in this case, vegan diet it could be better for our organism. That's meat, because when we during to this marathon eat meat, it also a lot. It also requires a lot of energy to processing inside our organism. So I think it depends on the situation. When you need a lot of monotonic work, physical monotonic work, meat diet will be not best case, and grass like vegan diet could be the best case in this situation. When you have a lot of intellectual work, the meat diet is the better, because we require a lot of energy and we also could compensate because we're not moving. Yeah.
Oksana.
Yeah, I had a question to Matt, because you said it's healthy for us to eat meat, because if we wouldn't, we'll have some diseases and so on. But what about cases when some chicken have salmonella, when we hear about beef meat which has tumors and so on? Wouldn't it be better to agree on this meat which was made in laboratory and it's grown in laboratory, and I heard it can be sold in the shops. It will cost only 30% more than normal meat. So would it be a good way? So I mean, not to cultivate animals anymore and to have more healthier diet. So, and you still have nutrition, the same kind of protein and.
You cannot answer actually. If you want to answer, you raise your hand. Do you want to answer?
I want to.
Okay, so you're going to answer after Victor. Write down what you want to answer.
Okay.
Victor.
Okay, so I wanted to respond to the speech from Matt. He said, I don't know, I'm not sure the guy you mentioned it was Jordan Peterson or some guy. Only eat steaks.
Different guy.
Different guy. Okay. Yeah. Because, immediately some popular guy like Jordan Peterson popped in my head. This guy is so famous nowadays. Like he got maybe 3 million followers on YouTube. He's very famous on all sorts of pseudosciences and. It's very famous on the radical right-wing extremist ideology and so on. He's promoting. Yeah, he always stands with terrorists and so on. And so he only eats sticks, and he heard it from some kind of pseudoscience side, and then he actually practices it. And one thing is really interesting. I think in the beginning, what you said, I really agree that we eat multiple things. I'm personally not a vegetarian, but I find it interesting because after you say some guy only eats steaks, and that's good. And I'm not really sure about that because we do need the grasses to digest, and even for meat, and we need some grasses, different sort of plants. And I'm not really sure that that's a good diet, only meat only. And another thing is I find that these people so far, I'm not sure everybody, of course, there are so many people on the planet, but so far those popular people who are advertising the meat diet or meat only diet, so far they all, so far I found all of them are also promoting the right-wing extremist ideology, and my educational background is more like I did a bachelor in political science, I did a master in philosophy, and so political philosophy is my field, and so far I find these people are quite dangerous, and also I find them kind of hypocritical, because the best diet is if it's meat, we can eat a cow or a bull or why we don't eat human? Yeah, it's also my neighbor country, China, and in Chinese culture they believe that the Chinese medicine, so-called, completely bullshit, pseudoscience.
Can you please not offend cultures? Really, please, guys. Nobody is going to.
They find
no. This is not allowed.
When they passed the border, those Chinese medicine products, they found that many of them, 400% over the basic line of the food security, by the Drug and Food Administration of America, and those are official data you can find on the internet, on the website FDA. And So I'm not offending the culture. This is just the way it is.
No, you cannot use science as an excuse to offend the culture. Chinese medicine is Chinese medicine. You can think what you want, but you cannot say it's bullshit. I mean, there is a lot of people using it. You don't agree, and it's not a problem. Just don't say it's bullshit.
If it's a scientific fact, then it's a scientific fact. So you find this.
No, it doesn't have to fulfill science to be a thing.
Okay, I don't use bullshit. Okay, but it's seriously speaking, I change a word. Rhetoric. It's a pseudoscience. That's for sure. It's a
doesn't pretend to be a science.
Pure pseudoscience, and you know, in Chinese medicine, I will end this briefly. In Chinese medicine, they believe what you lack of, you will eat them. So they eat some kind of nut. Because the shape inside the shape is really near to your brain, and they believe it will increase your intelligence, and in the whole history, a long history from the beginning to the end, 2,000 years of history, and they really practice the human eating. Yeah, you can find it almost everywhere. The historical research on that topic. The human consumerism, and they really believe that, and they really eat it. So if we really got to eat meat, why if the meat is what we really need, why we don't eat human?
That's a good point. Thank you for the question. And now we have Isa.
Yes, I have a question to Ola.
Oh, okay.
Ola said that killing an animal is the same like killing a plant, and my question is if killing an animal is the same as killing a human. Because for me, killing a plant is a strange comparison, because we walk on the grass, and we're killing a plant daily, all of us humans. So.
Okay. Ola P, thank you. You can answer afterward. I already marked you. And now we have Matt, actually.
Okay, in regards to meat grown in a lab, I think it's a very interesting, very new topic that we don't know very much about. So I can't talk very much about the realities of it, but I'm naturally skeptical about very radically new things. I always stand back and say, well, let's see how this goes before we make any radical change. Is it better than cultivating animals? It wouldn't be good for the cows if it was, because we wouldn't have any reason to keep them around anymore. So if humans aren't eating cows and sheep and pigs, then the cow, sheep and pig population of the world is going to go down by about 99.9%. So I guess from their perspective, we should hope the lab thing doesn't catch on. In terms of salmonella, I think that's a separate issue. You know, you have to do things a clean way. We all know about that. And then in regards to Jordan Peterson, I think that really goes off the topic. I know that he is someone who advocates for eating a meat-based diet, and he's talked about how that's improved his health. I'm happy to speak with you more about Jordan Peterson, but it goes off topic. About him being pseudo-scientific, that's I guess that's somewhat subjective. You know, people can make their own opinion. I wouldn't say that the carnivore example that I gave was something that I'm saying is the best. I only really brought it up to be the counterbalance of veganism, which is no meat versus all meat. Just to say that there are people out there who have shown that eating only meat can be very healthy. Just a comparative example. About cannibalism, again, I think that's a very different matter. It's one that touches more on general morality, and I guess that if you were to explore that issue, you would probably find that it's a very difficult issue to explain why you wouldn't eat human meat compared to animal meat. But the only answer to that really is that it's about our choice as humans and what we see is acceptable and not acceptable. So I guess in that way it's subjective.
Okay, thank you very much. Now is the question point. What is the question point? A question point is a point where I ask you some question, and you can choose if you want to answer or not in your further interventions. And my question will just aim to make a lot of confusion in your fucking minds. That's my only point. So, question number one. What do you think about eating insects? I don't know. Is it vegan or not vegan? What do you think about? And second question, actually there has been a big debate about vaccines. Are they vegan or not? Because they used animals to improve them. So another question to make some bawagan. And you were raising your hand. Once again, your name is Sandra, so, and then Ibra. Okay. You write down what you want to answer, because my questions works as any other intervention. So you cannot answer to me right away. We have a line, so write down what you want to say. And I saw that you were right. Okay, Maria afterward. Maria, and here do we have somebody else? Okay, Victor. And let's go with the next one. We were about here in Cuba.
Okay, so I wanted to start with to start my conversation with what I think about veganism. To me, veganism as a I don't know about what it is in the terms of health to be vegan or to not be vegan. I'm not qualified to talk in this. I don't have the knowledge.
Just one spot. Nobody has to be qualified. Here we are just about your opinions, okay?
But I use a bad term. I don't have knowledge to discuss the medical and health terms of veganism. So I will mostly talk about the moral view on veganism. And to me, veganism itself, like not consuming animal food that comes from animals, not necessarily from killing them, but also from, for example, milking cows to have milk. To me, there is no moral duty of not doing that. I eat meat. I eat a lot of meat, and I don't have any moral obligation to stop doing that because animals are being killed. From my point of view, animals were being killed 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 1,000 years ago, a lot of years ago, big numbers years ago. They were being killed, and I think that killing an animal to eat it today is just as moral as our ancestors killing animals back in the day when there was no civilization and there was no the people weren't talking about the good of killing animals and the moral aspect of it. And I wanted to Victor started mentioned the stuff about eating humans, that veganism, that lack of veganism. I don't want to put any words into your mouth, but I didn't hear it exactly as it was, but from what I understood, the lack of veganism could potentially lead to eating humans. I want a quick note if that is what you meant or that it's not.
Not exactly.
You can't answer, you have to note what you want to answer and answer afterward.
Okay.
Write it down. Write it down. The problem is that if we start a ping pong, then we stop the machine. So write it down and you will say it.
But I don't have to write down the.
Okay, you have.
He's just asking me to go away.
I wanted to ask if what I said was what you meant or it wasn't. But okay, let's start it from the beginning. I think that I want to start with that. For me, eating others human flesh is not morally obligating. It's not immoral to eat human flesh. And I want to have an argument.
Now I'm scared. But okay.
We live in a society in which we all agree not to kill each other, and I don't want to. You look tasty, but I don't want to kill. Believe me, I have none of this. None of this as my thought.
Second question.
To me, eating any kind of meat is just the same. It doesn't matter if I have on my plate, for example, chicken or cow or a dog or a cat or a human. The only thing that cannibal morally about cannibals that is immoral is the way that you get that you would get, because it's not practiced much. It's practiced in some places right now, but it's not practiced much. But to me, cannibalism shouldn't be instantly be deemed immoral, or it shouldn't be instantly categorized as evil, because that everything depends on what the person that was alive and then was meat would wanted before their death.
Can I leave?
No, he jumps
To elaborate further to that point.
Shorten, please. Everybody listen. You go to the point.
Okay. I think that if a person would write in their will, people write different things in their will. They want to be scattered as ashes on the 634 from some kind of mountain, just because they have a philosophical view about it. I think that if a human would want their body to be used in some way, either used for medicine or used to become meat, to be sold, to be eaten, for me that is not morally, not immoral. I think that if a person dies and
We got a point. We got a point. Okay, Victor, you're already on the line. Don't you worry.
We don't.
Jan.
For example, if we don't have a question but we have a comment, we can do it.
You can do it because you're already marked. You're going to be speaking in 4 people. You're marked. I'm coming. Jan. And then Oksana will be afterward. Okay. Jan.
So I would bring in 2 points. I think we explained it a lot at the moment. But in my opinion, we have to view it in 2 directions. The first direction is like the moral way. I think Matt explained it very good. I think animals should be treated better, but that's just an individual opinion. I think you can't generalize it to each person. I think everyone has their own opinion, and this is like good, because it's freedom of speech. But the other point is a more serious topic is, I think everyone knows that the planet or the whole environment is going downwards, since we have to care about more environment and the planet is suffering at the moment. So I am not a scientist, unfortunately, but we have to look on veganism if it's helping the planet to improve their environment. And if veganism is helping the planet, then I think we should view it with another direction, because I think that's like the biggest point we have right now. If the planet is dying, we don't have any more topic to argue. So if veganism helps at this point, it should be treated at least what we are doing, not discussed in school, so that the environment and the future will be better. And the moral point is, if animals should be treated better or not, it's individual, but the other point is very clear. I think this is just one direction. I'm not a scientist, unfortunately, but if veganism helps to improve the environment, we should take it very serious. If it doesn't help, we should maybe treat it on the other way around. I don't know how science is right now, if veganism is really improving the planet, but if it is, then I think it shouldn't be a discussion.
Thank you, Jan. Now we have Ola Zwykła without P.
Okay, so the question was about why is killing people different from killing an animal? Yes. Or eating. Eating
an animal is the same as killing a plant.
Yes.
And I ask you if killing an animal is the same as killing a human.
Yes. So, no. I think, personally, I think that killing people is bad because people are sentient beings. Again, the word, this word, yes, people are conscious. People have dreams, have hopes for their lives that they want to fulfill, and they can be afraid of death. So killing a person is a violation of their freedom. So it's bad. On the other hand, animals and plants don't have this sentient, and they are not afraid of death. They, of course, can feel pain. So these animals can feel pain. Plants don't really feel pain the same as we do, but they feel something. I think I read something about. Never mind, but they are not afraid of death. So yes, that's like I must say that there is also one. So there are like plants and animals, and there are humans and sentient aliens or AI. Computers that I think would be immoral to kill or switch off because they are afraid of death. And there are also little kids who are not sentient, like 2-year-old kids are not sentient. So I think killing a 3-year-old is not as bad as killing an adult, but it can also.
About to call the police, but okay.
Yes. I think it's. I don't really have a strong opinion on that, because like a 2-year-old human can still will be a human someday, and will be afraid of death, but it's not. So I think that it's not as bad to kill a 2-year-old human as to kill an adult human.
I will have a question.
Ala, afterward. Maciej. Marcin, przepraszam. Marcin. Always have this problem in Polish between Marcin and Maciej. I'm sorry. Marcin.
Yes, should I refer to one person or to...
Everything you want to say, you have your time to say it. But be brief and effective.
Yes, so here in the first point you mentioned that animals and plants are the same in their value. By your reasoning and by this argument, if we had a problem, for example, of somebody kicking, for example, a pig, and kicking, for example, potatoes or cabbage, which one would you try to save? By your point of view, there would be no difference. But even you yourself don't behave in this way, right? If you saw, for example, somebody kicking a dog or a pig, you would react, right? You would react to this behavior and you try to save the dog or a pig. Why? The reason for this is that we are much more similar to those beings, and we should judge by percentage of probability and how similar we are. So, for instance, we know that if something is closer to me, then there is high probability that it feels in a similar way. So animals are more similar to us, and this is why we should react in this way. And you also, I believe, would react in this way. So it negates your previous point, because you yourself would probably react differently than almost everybody here when they saw somebody kicking a pig. And almost nobody here would react if somebody was kicking a cucumber. Almost nobody. That's the difference, because we know that there is this difference, and we know that probability of animals suffering is much closer to us than a feeling of pain of a cucumber or something like this. Or also, like, I mean, I have many points, but I will not give. Yes, I will try.
Consider that you're going to have. You will have time even in the end because you won the topic. Okay.
Yes, right.
So in the end, you're going to sum up everything.
Right,
So.
yes. So I would also refer to your point that you mentioned that we did this for many years, as I remember, right? But the question of morality is not how long something is copied or done, but whether it has logical consequences. And we should have other things which we would refer to, like feeling pain, for example, than just referring to the length of something, of doing something. Because we know that in the past, for example, we had slavery, and it was a practice for a very long time. And nobody here would probably say that, well, it was practiced for very long, so we should continue this. Almost nobody would agree with this point. So why do we address it towards animals? And again, another point is that we are animals too. And nobody here, not even nobody here mentioned the difference which would allow one animal being treated in such a way for one's comfort. That's important. We are not talking about the subject of rescuing ourselves, of saving our lives, but we are discussing the subject of our comfort, and this is the main point. We are not thinking about whether we do this for survival, but if we do this for our comfort. And paying a bit less money, a bit more money sometimes, it's our comfort. Doing also, for example, going to another shop which is a bit more further from us, it's also our comfort. Doing something because we got used to this is our comfort. We only discuss the subject is our comfort more important than another being's life. And what would differentiate this? Is it because they are just less intelligent? I mean, in case of people, if we had somebody who is less intelligent, nobody would say, okay, let's abuse this person. Why would we do this to animals? I believe that there is no logical point of saying that we should mistreat nowadays animals as we do. Because in the past, if we had to survive, there was a different situation. And I would also briefly just discuss the topic of this of referring to something if something is healthy or not. I believe that none of us is a doctor, probably, I guess. And we should refer to what the science says. And scientifically, we can say, and I could address this, that science says that we can be healthy in this kind of habit, this kind of eating habit, because we have scientific proofs for this. We also have anecdotes, and I don't say that they don't count. They count to some extent, but the weight of this, let's say, I mean, more important is to refer to scientific proof than to anecdotes. We can have people saying various things, and it is not justified in the same way as something which comes from science. So we should refer, first of all, if something is scientific, and then go to cases of anecdotes. Not starting from anecdotes, but referring to what science says, and scientifically we can say that this kind of diet is healthy, and we can refer to some, if you want to some sources like Academy of Dietitians and Nutrition, the largest institution, also institution Oxford, Cambridge. They all agree that this kind of diet could be healthy. So the case is whether we treat as fact something which is more anecdotal or is scientific fact. I believe that we should first start with scientific facts and then go to anecdotes. There are also, yes. Yes, okay. Yes, I try to. Yes. So, again, I would first of all address to the main point what differentiates people from animals and then go further. Because if we can't say that for our comfort we can abuse animals, we can kill them nowadays, not for survival situation, then why wouldn't we, and this is my question, if somebody could kill an animal for one's comfort, why wouldn't this person agree, for example, to steal, let's say, 5 zloty or 10 zloty from somebody? Which is worse? Every day killing another being, taking everything it has, or taking 10 zloty from somebody, which is worse? Where is the line? They would cross the line. And the most important thing is, I would like to address is if you could point out a thing which differentiates us as animals, because we are animals, from other animals, that other animals could be abused for one's comfort. What is the factor for this? I don't know.
Thank you. I'm sorry because we don't have much time.
Okay.
So just one question for everybody. Is it life a circle or a pyramid? Is it life a circle or a pyramid?
Pyramid scheme.
No. I'm just speaking about the relationship between beings. Are we a circle or a pyramid? Because some one of you is saying there are superior beings and some other of you says that we are all around. Okay. You can even answer this way. I give you a suggestion, but then you answer as you wish and you can go the direction you want.
Could you please explain more the question because I didn't get it.
Actually, it's a very simple question. Do you think that life is the beings in general are in a pyramid? So, for example, I am more important than a cat, and the cat is more important than a pig, and the pig is more important than an insect? Or do you think it's a circle? So everybody has his dignity and...
But not between the human being, with other human being, but even with other creations, yes?
You take that's just my suggestion. Once again, you take it as you wish. It's just a suggestion, okay? You want to answer this direction or another one, your choice. My questions are never like, you should think this way, okay? That's a very important thing about philosophy. Philosophy is never about like, you have to think like me. It's always like giving you some suggestion, and maybe you will take, maybe you will not.
Okay.
And you think by yourself, of course.
I have a second question. Can I replace my question or comments? Not about the vaccine, but about this topic.
You're going to have a turn, and you will say whatever you want.
Okay.
So you can say absolutely what you want, and now we have Olapi.
Oh, okay. So yeah, perfect moment because it's very similar.
Okay,
to
guys,
what he
just
said.
1 second. We still have half an hour. We can even stay for a little bit more, but not that much more. So now please be focused to the point.
Yeah. I'll be brief because he said pretty much everything that I wanted to say. First of all, about the carnivore experiment of some guy on Instagram or whatever, that's just anecdotal. And yes, some people thrive on that, and some people thrive on veganism. Some people like this, some people like that. But science says, as he says, that a vegan diet can be totally healthy if you take into account what you're eating. And meat, it can be better for the organism than only plants, but it's not necessarily. You can be totally healthy with well, best with an omnivore diet, but vegan, it can be also just as good. Only carnivore, probably not. Where do you get your fiber? No, not existent in meat. And, well, in general, seems like a bad idea for what scientists say. I'm not a scientist, unfortunately, like Jan said. And then about what Ola was saying, actually, I do believe that animals do feel, and they are afraid of death. I mean, if you're already when you see the cows going to the slaughterhouse, they are already in panic, and they cry and they scream. They are sentient beings, and plants are not. I mean, I don't think that plants experience pain, and if they do, it's in a much lesser way. In a video that I saw, I don't know, because it's a video, apparently it's based on science, but I cannot I cannot vote for it because I wasn't there. But from experiments, they know that the species that the most suffers pain is humans first, and then are pigs, and then cows, and then some other animals, and then, like, for example, what the pain that shrimp experiences while being killed is not comparable what a pig feels, but it's still a little bit of pain, and it's more than what plants feel. And also that, like, someone, if it's retarded being a human because of some mental thing, then they won't feel pain, they are not afraid of death, but it's not an excuse to kill them or like a justification for killing them. So yeah, mainly about, I think that it could be kind of moral question. And it's also, in this moral question, up to what point is something right or wrong for you? Is it right to kill them? And if it's not right to kill them, is it right to exploit them, like for your benefit, like for milk, eggs, etc.? And then, I myself am not a vegan, I'm a vegetarian, but I have to admit that the times that I have been a vegan, I felt much better with my conscience. So I think it's subjective of every person, how they see animals and stuff.
Thank you, Ola. Now, after 2 minutes, I'm going to cut you out, because otherwise there's not going to be enough time for everyone, and I would like to make space for everyone. So now we have Sandra.
First of all, I would like to admit that I'm a vegetarian, aspiring to be a vegan, and I'm also a standard of, like I said, vegetarian. So I have, like, very strong point of view, and I've seen the other side of the industry, meat industry. So because of that, I can agree with, I don't know, for example, Mona, when she says that animals don't have consciousness. So, for example, there are some slaughterhouses where you have, like, very separated rooms for pigs who are going to be killed and who are killed right now, and that's because these pigs who are waiting in line for their death, they actually they have so much adrenaline in their veins that it makes meat taste not very good. So they are the people who are running the business are really aware of that, and they try to make this meat as good as they can, but they also know that animals are suffering, and they really know what's happening and what's going on. And I was going to talk about insects. So, for example, I think that insects are not vegan, and it wouldn't be considered as meat for vegans, but it's actually the best way and the most immoral way to eat something which is very, like, nutrition and very good for your health, but it doesn't require killing animals, and it's also very good for climate change because do you know how much cows fart actually? It's not like it's because of the cows we have climate change, but they also contribute to that. So if we eat only insects, that would be better for our health and for our climate. Of course, there's some, like, religion
Thank you so much, Sandra. And now we have Ibra.
Okay, about the paramedic life, I believe that the human being is the most important creature in the world. And everything around us is to serve us, including the animals. I will turn back to Ola, because killing an animal, scientifically it's proved that after 3 seconds they die. They don't feel pain after that. So this is proved scientifically. As a human being, we need this meat to eat it for our body and for our power, etc. Without the meat, we will not have the same power if we will eat already vegetables, etc. I believe in another part of the question, all the human beings are equal. There is no difference between black and white, rich, poor, woman, man, and races, etc. But we can improve ourselves. If someone wants to be rich, will work and will be rich. This is the difference. So everyone can improve himself. But we are all equal. Another thing for example, if we don't know too that if the plants have feelings or something, we don't know how to improve it. Okay, because when we for the animals, yes, we can hear their voice or they feel pain or something, but for the plants, we don't know how to do. We need some level of science maybe to discover that. So for this, for me, to eat vegetables is like to eat animals. But turning back to Cuba, I said about if the human being can eat other human being. No, this is not possible because the meat of the same kind of like for us as men, etc. To eat another man, it's not good. Will not be healthy or something. Maybe it will cause us some disease or something. For animals, even for me as a Muslim, we don't eat all animals, etc. So there are some certain.
Thank you. Sorry for cutting, but I have Mariam.
Okay, so I wanted to answer the question about insects being vegan or not being vegan, and so I actually answered the same question that she touched on what I wanted to say, so I'll be trying to agree. But I think that the answer to the question depends on how you define veganism. Because we can define veganism, and I think this is what we should do since we're discussing morality here, by its purpose. Why are you vegan? What are you trying to achieve by being vegan? And if what you're trying to achieve is to minimize the amount of suffering for the animals, then I think the answer would be no, because insects do have a nervous system, and we've discussed before the difference between plants and animals and humans, and I think that plants shouldn't be put in the same category as humans and animals, because plants do not have a nervous system. Plants are not sentient. They do not feel, period. Like, that's a scientific fact, and it's false to just put an equation between an organism and an organism. If something is an organism, then it's the same as the other organism. No, organisms are very different. So if you define veganism like that, then I think it's not vegan. But if you define veganism as something that has a purpose of making life better for humans, then I think yes, because actually eating meat produces more CO2, as Sandra mentioned. Like, for example, you have to cut forests to make this piece of land free for growing plants there, so that animals can eat those plants. And then we eat animals. Like, we can't just eat the plants, and then we end up with more food. We end up with less food because the animals have to eat those plants first so that we can eat those animals. And it contributes to climate change, and I think that eating insects would not contribute to it in such a way. Like, we probably wouldn't have to cut so much forest for making food for insects so that they can be alive and we can eat them. But I can be wrong here, so if someone is more literate on that subject, then they can correct me. So I think it's that, and I also wanted to touch on that other question about vaccines, because I think what you meant when you asked the question is, are they vegan explain because they have some organisms in them. And I
No, it's because to make a vaccine, they experiment on animals.
okay.
So you have to kill animals to make a vaccine, actually. Not necessarily because the animal can even survive, but
Okay, so I don't have enough time to talk about that, so I'm just going to skip on the question. And I also wanted to comment on what Ola previously said, right? Yeah, a lot of people commented on that. You said that animals are not sentient, right? And this is not true. Like, animals have nervous system, and plants do not have a nervous system. They're not sentient, as I mentioned before. And I believe that what you said about being afraid of death is true. I think that humans are the only species on Earth that have the capacity to be afraid of death. And probably not all humans, like probably very small children, do not have the capacity to be afraid of death because you have to have some level of intelligence to even conceptualize that. I don't think that a dog, for example, or a cow, or whatever animal you can put in here, has the ability to conceptualize death, like to understand it, that it's the end of me, the end of my experience, etc. But why is it so important that the being understands death, that the being is afraid of death, if the being still can feel pain when it's being killed, when it's being kept in a very small space because nobody cares about the well-being of that animal, they only care for producing meat out of it. So I don't really understand how it's necessary for the discussion, and I think a lot of time will pass before you have the occasion to answer to what I've just said. So
that's all.
If you do, then I'd be grateful for that. Also, I think what you said sounds to me like you're making intelligence, in fact, the decisive factor for why a being could not be killed. Because you need intelligence to conceptualize it, but you do not need intelligence to think.
thank you. I gave you a little bit of more time because you never spoke before, so thank you. Victor,
be brief.
Yes.
Brief. Oh yeah, and there's an interesting point I mix up together with your question. Is all beings are all beings equal, or they are in a hierarchy? And also with what's your name?
Alexandra.
Sorry. Yeah, and she said about the animals that do not have intelligence. They don't feel, they don't
Sentience, consciousness.
I looked up this word. It's also new for me. Yeah, in German it's more like Finland. Yeah, and actually, why I want to mix these 2 points together, because one of my major subjects was Martin Heidegger, was a German philosopher, a famous fascist.
Nazist.
Yeah, he is Nazi. Yeah. Oh no, you are.
Yeah,
not.
because fascist is Italian.
Yeah, but you can use them interchangeably. In this context, it's fine. In this context, it's fine. Because the point is, they both because these two streams, they both agree that the hierarchy system, and one of the arguments he has addressed several times in his works, because I have the it's the full collection of his works. I have it in German, in English, and so on. So he addressed it several times, and his major argument, reorganize it briefly. It's more in human language. It's like the animals do not feel. The animals cannot think. Therefore, but humans are another kind of being. The being toward the death. and a pig cannot feel the death, cannot think of the death, and therefore they are, they cannot do philosophy. A pig cannot do philosophy, and that's why those humans are so special and in a higher position of the hierarchical structure, according to this. Yes.
You got something brief because your 2 minutes are over in theory.
Oh, okay. So, I answered those questions.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for having not more time, but now we have Andrei.
Yes, I remember. The second question is about vaccine and animals, yes?
Yes.
Could you please repeat also? Yes. Repeat the question.
Are vaccines vegan? Because, for example, if you make a soap killing animals, you say that this soap is not vegan.
As I remember, what is the vegan? Vegan is the people who don't use animals in food. So, from the maybe philological point of view, vaccine is not a vegan because in this case we don't use it in the food and the soul. So maybe it could be like some society for the depending animals from the medicine experiments and some other, but it's not a vegan. That's all.
Okay, very brief, thank you. Oksana.
It was too much because you said if we stop cultivate animals, then the number of animals will decrease and it's not good. But I think most of them spend their life in cages, they don't see, anything. And in India they don't eat cow, but still they have some cows which lead healthy life and happy life. So I think it's good if we decrease the number of these animals. Then I think it was your point that it's scientifically proven that we can still be healthy if we are vegan. But I think it's more expensive and we would need to spend more time for it, so it's time consuming. Imagine you have kids and you need to provide a healthy diet in a vegan. That's why I think most people don't decide to choose this way just because it's convenient still to eat meat. And to your question about insects, I think it's a great idea. So for me, for example, if I would have frozen insects somewhere in the wrong kind, some good recipes, and someone will show me that it can be tasty, like maybe in Thailand or somewhere they eat it. So I think it's a good idea.
Thank you very much. And now we have Isa.
I have a follow-up question to Ola. Because you said that humans are scared of death and animals are not scared of death. And aren't humans scared of death because we are said to be scared of death? Because we don't know about death anything. We are just being said to be scared of death.
So your one is a question.
It's just like kind of question, but also like I saw an animal to be killed, and I know that this animal was scared.
Okay.
So I disagree with the fact that I definitely disagree that the fact what you said that animals don't feel and don't have feeling, but they definitely have, and I have numerous situations. I go great, and also they could be scared of that. So, my main question is that aren't we scared of them just because we are sad to be scared of them? Maybe it's something pleasant that we are just sad to be scared. We don't know anything about that because none of us experience that. Or if we experience, we don't remember it.
And we have Artur.
I will do this by staying so because it's sitting is difficult all the time. So before to start to talk about these 2 points, healthy and morality, I would ask raise hand who try to never eat meat during 1 month or more, just for interest. There is 21 person here and 1, 2, 3.
Could you repeat the question?
Who never eat more than 1 month. Oh, 11 person
Yes,
from
check it out.
21.
We have
It's
some notes
interesting.
with
So, about morality, I guess it's a conditional concept, because morality is good or not to kill animals for eating. For example, if I ask Ola to kill mosquito, fish, cat, dog, human, you will have different feelings when you are doing that. So it's conditional concept as for me. As for healthy, it depends on, because, for example, if we are talking about tennis players, Venus Williams, Novak Djokovic, they are vegans and they have enough of power to play matches at the highest level. So, healthy. It's what we eat. It's our habit. To drink beer, it's good or bad. It depends on. To smoke cigarette, to eat meat. It depends which quality of meat, which quantity of meat you eat or never eat. It depends on what you are doing in your life. Because our organism, it's like car, and our food, it's like fuel, what we put inside. And scientists told that meat is very difficult for us, and as my opinion, it's better. I would like to try to don't eat meat, and I know that we can don't eat meat and sleep less and have more powerful to be efficient. When I'll try it, I'll be ready to return to discussion.
Very precise in time, perfect. Ala.
Okay, so my question was for you, Ola, because you said that killing 2-year-old baby is not as bad as killing an adult, and I know that we are talking mostly about animals, but here it's for me it's like a starting point for a larger discussion. So is intelligence and the consciousness, as previous speakers were saying, the factor that determine a right to stay alive, and do we measure the value of life by being useful for the society, or by the fact of being weak? What should we who should we save? Those who can give benefits for the society, or those who can't offer anything, for example, or are vulnerable, like a 2-year-old baby or some animals. So, what is more important, being useful or being weak, in a sense of choosing who should we protect? So it's more like a starting point for a discussion.
That's all?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We have Cuba, and then we have another phase that is going to start. Cuba?
Okay, so...
Are we missing somebody up there?
He went to the toilet.
Okay.
Okay, so... to start with, I want to ask a question to Martin about the similarity. The things we perceive as similar, we don't want them to be pain, right? So, what do you think that defines similar? Because bananas have 50% of their DNA the same as humans. So, are bananas similar to humans? And should we try to go and try to reduce pain onto bananas, And another point I want to make, because I don't have much time to talk, I will try to make a few points at once. So I believe that starting with the question if life is a circle or a triangle, I think that life used to be a circle when there was no civilization, where humans weren't dominating the planet. And I think that now that humans have dominated the planet, that humans have invented technology, machines, I think that now the life on Earth as a whole has become a triangle in which obviously humans are on the top. And I think that it is really important to define what it is very important to define what in animals is similar to us, because I am not sure if it is scientifically proven, but I think that animals obviously can feel pain, because if we hit an animal, it reacts. That means it feels pain. So, okay, I'll just stop because I can't make that in time.
I'm sorry, because we have to fit everything in time. Now, the next phase is very interesting. We still have 3 little phases. We're about to finish, but we have still 3 little games. First game, let's catch the people that never spoke. Starting with, you can say something if you want. If you don't want, you can just say pass, but...
For me, it's like, I mean, everyone has already said everything that had to be said, but yeah, I mean, I don't support veganism. I support like eating meat, of course, because you have all the constituents in it and all the proteins that you need. I think everyone. I'm just reiterating the point, so so I think that's it for me. I'll pass.
Dorota.
I was like listening carefully and I was thinking about it because every perspective has its own like and I think the main issue here is about like domination, about us being superiors to other beings. Because for example, like a lot of people said that, like for example, animals don't have consciousness or don't have feelings and so on. And there were like arguments that they have and they don't have. And like, I don't know. Because I'm not animal. Like I am, but I'm not. So I don't know what my cat feels, for example. My dog feels. I'm sure that it feels pain and so on. It feels fear, it feels joy. It misses me, for example. But I'm not sure because I'm not inside of this country. The same with the cats. In the past, we were told that cats has no ability to feel, to communicate, and recently scientists they're saying that trees, for example, have ability to communicate with some mushroom webs and so on. So for me, it's like wow, like I would never say that they're able to communicate, for example. And I don't know, I don't want to be a judge and say that okay, like this feels and this creature has no right to feel because I'm not like I don't have this ability to do this. And of course we should respect every creature and it would be great if we start eating cows and pigs and so on. And I know it's not possible. Maybe it will be in the future because it's said that food will be so expensive that we cannot afford it in the future because of the cost that will be like luxuries to eat meat once a week. So I really hope for that. But I have a lot of doubts, a lot of questions. That's why I like it. It gives me a lot, like for
Thank you. And now we have. Two. You never spoke.
Okay.
Once again, your name I told you was.
Zahra.
Zaha.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna speak from the viewpoint of. Okay, so maybe I'm not gonna speak more from veganism, but maybe like the goal that we're trying to achieve. Maybe some people are trying to be more sustainable by being vegan. But maybe there are other issues we also need to think about. Like, okay, no, wait, I'm jumping from point to point. Okay, I will start with, in some areas, like for example, maybe if people live in areas where it's more rural and they hunt animals to eat them, it's still kind of sustainable because they're not like mass farming a bunch of animals that they're then like. Okay, I will skip to that point later. So there's still like a sustainable way of collecting meat and eating it. And also, I don't think it's a moral duty to be vegan because you kind of can't impose that on people from like different cultures and different countries. And again, like in some places they hunt meat sustainably, and then they don't really have access to processed vegan products that the rest of us do in supermarkets, for example. So it's not really like fair. And then my second point would be there's a lot of food waste. So maybe like people fish a lot, or they mass like produce animals now. And a lot of this food in the supermarket is then thrown away, or maybe sometimes they catch fish and then they just throw it back in the ocean. And then a lot of food waste is also happening like at the individual level. But I think the most damage is being done like on the level of the system and the way that things operate. So I don't think it's an individual moral duty, but maybe it's something to look at in terms of the system. That's all.
Thank you very much. And now we have Emanuele. If you want to speak.
So actually I think that veganism could be a good healthy way of eating, because actually I think good plants could replace animals. So I'm thinking if someone is vegan and someone thinks that it's better than eating just animals and stuff, I think it's a good way, and especially would help with the environment, and so for the future it could be a good way to avoid many problems. So I think it's really
And now we have Kasia. Test.
So I'm not gonna stand on any of these sides. I think there are good things about veganism, and there are also good things about the diet, which involves meat. But I think that we have to find a healthy balance in it. And I think if we have scientific proof that we can live without meat and we can have a sustainable diet using only plants, that's good. But I know also people who were for many years vegans, and they after many years decided to start eating meat because they were just not feeling good. So my point is it's a very individual case.
Each person. Thank you very much. Now we have the step last actually, phase, that is Marcin, that will give us the conclusion, because it was his topic. So you have to tell us if you found some topic that it was new, that you never heard before, if you already heard everything that it was in the table, if it was useless, if you want to add something.
Yes, can I also refer to some questions?
Wait. And after that, there is the last phase. Don't lose it, because it's going to be the most interesting, in my opinion. Go with it.
Excuse me, because I was never able to actually address all the people that was.
You will be in the next phase.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Don't you worry. In a second, I'm coming.
Something.
Don't you worry. relax and marching.
Okay, so is the only conclusion? Can I refer to some questions? There were some
You can refer to everything you want.
Okay, great.
But you have just 2 minutes.
Okay, great.
So wrap it.
Well,
Wrap it.
You mentioned that it was expensive and time-consuming. I agree that in some circumstances it could be, not necessarily always. But given the case, if it were like this, we wouldn't compare this to other things, because we should focus on morality. Again, being moral does not mean that it will be comfortable. I can also name things where we can, for example, steal from other people and nobody would notice, and still it will be more comfortable for me. The case is, it's not whether it's not comfortable or not, or is it? The case is whether it is moral, and is it concise towards other beings, not hurting for one's comfort. That's the case. Also in other cases, we wouldn't justify, for example, if I say stealing a car from another person is comfort for me, if this person doesn't see, or if I can do something which would be convenient for me, but still we wouldn't justify. So I would point out that we should focus on morality. And going back to you mentioned interesting case, banana case, it was about hurting a banana. So I would say that, and you mentioned something like finding similarities, and it depends on what similarities and in what aspect. We are similar to animals in the way, not only genetically more similar than in case of banana, but also, which is extremely important in case of hurting or of feeling the pain. We have the brain, we have the nervous system, and all those kind of things show that it is first, that we should first of all think about animals and then, let's say, plants. Still, talking about plants, we don't know if they feel pain, probably not, because they don't have it. Even if they did, we have the situation if we know, and we should judge by probability. We always look, I mean, this is, I believe, a logical rule that if something is more probable, we should choose this. And directing this in case of comparing animals to plants, almost everybody here would agree that probably animals, there is higher percentage of probability that animals feel pain in a similar way to ours, not plants. So that is how I would refer to this. And yes, there was also the case of saying that animals, for example, somebody could feel, let's say, could have some negative consequences of practicing veganism, but it's again the question of whether we should try to become vegans. Because even if somebody practiced if somebody incorporated veganism into their life and they had negative health consequences, still there's probability again of some mistakes. And if we judge by mistakes, we should also refer to science. And science says that probably vegan diet, I mean not probably, it is scientific that at all stages of life it could be a good way of living, right? It should be mentioned that we should refer to, again, probability. It is not that I say that science in every aspect is true. We can criticize also science, but what is more probable, anecdotes or science? I believe that we should refer to science. Okay, yes. and again, right, even if plants, again going back to plants, even if they felt the pain, still eating animals would affect more pain, let's so call, in plants if somebody believes so, because animals also would eat plants first, so we would use more plants in this way. So I believe that yes, probably that's all.
Okay, so